Hey there, thanks for stopping by and welcome to another installment of The Bright Side of Nature Photography, coming to you from indoors today because it's so freaking crappy outside. Beth tells me I swear too much, so it's not shitty outside, it's crappy. Anyway, a couple weeks ago, I set out on my annual spring moose photography excursion with a couple of photography buddies of mine. We'll call them Jim and Peter. And we went to one of my favorite places on the planet, which is Baxter State Park in Maine. Now, that still body of water you just saw is called Sandy Stream Pond. And if you want to see moose for the first time, I recommend going to Sandy Stream Pond. You can read all about it in my book, Zen and the Art of Moose Photography, available on Amazon. If you read it carefully, you'll see Sandy Stream Pond is where you should go, okay? Now, if you're unfamiliar with the concept of moose, here's a look. Okay, now that particular photograph was taken on June 10th last year. Why does that matter? Well, a few years ago, I was consulting with my moose mentor. We'll again call him Jim. And I said, when do the moose in Maine start coming out of the woods and into the ponds? And he looked at me and said, June 10th. So I took it to heart. And every chance I've gotten since then, I've traveled to Baxter on June 10th. And let me tell you something, I've never failed to photograph a moose the week of June 10th. Here's another look from a couple of years ago. Okay, so there we went in search of moose at Baxter, and for 4 solid days, we saw a grand total of 0 moose. But here's where looking on the bright side comes into play. What do you do when you don't see and you don't photograph moose for 4 days? Well, you photograph whatever the hell else is nearby, even if it doesn't move. Okay, so 4 days, no moose, plenty of weird, bad weather, and tons of mosquitoes and black flies, but not once did Peter and I lose hope. You can't do that. You can't go out there with a bad attitude. You've got to know in your heart that you're going to see moose. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. It's like hoping that someday Donald Trump will compose a complete sentence. It's just not going to happen. Also, don't forget, a bad day in the woods is still better than a day on the couch eating Doritos. Okay, so that leads to our final opportunity.
Alrighty then. So up at 3 o'clock. Took an hour to get from the other side of the park to Roaring Brook Campground, which is the trailhead for Sandy Stream Pond. This is our last day, our last shot, our last chance. And can you hear the raindrops? Yeah. But it's not bad. I vote for giving it a shot because that's how much I love moose. So Peter, who's right over there, Peter and I have to make a decision here in a couple of minutes. Well, eventually. But I think this is going to happen. I feel really good. I'm looking on the bright side. I feel really, really good. Whew.
Okay, sure, it might have been that THC gummy I ate that morning, but that good feeling led to this. And there you have it. Now the point is, once again, despite the bugs and the weather and the lack of sleep and the lack of moose for 4 days, you got to hang in there. You got to have a good attitude. You got to look on the bright side. And you can read all about that in my book, Zen and the Art of Moose Photography, available on Amazon. Did I mention that? Oh, one more thing before I take off. We went 4+ days at Baxter without taking showers. So here's a pro tip. you want to get close to moose, it helps to smell like a moose.
Yeah.